Hey, and welcome to Chew the Fat. This is Ep.2. It's sponsored by Lumberjack because we like to, drink beers while we're here, sometimes throw some axes. And I have a very important person here today, Mr. Mike Carlson, who is the pastor of my church. I mean, it's not my church.
It's our church.
It's our church.
It's everybody's church.
Yeah, it's probably really your church. But he struck me the very first time I was there. I was like, wow, I really like this guy. He's super real and genuine. And then I found out.
We're both from the range.
Oh, stop. It was like a mic drop situation. I was like, I knew. And if you're not an Iron Ranger, they might not know.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah,
it's a real thing.
Tell me, Mike, how would you describe an Iron Ranger, and why do we immediately become best friends?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can kind of tell with a look, right?
Right.
And there's a little bit of an accent. And when I'm on the range, I get more of it real quick,
And a little side mouth talking.
Yeah.
That's what happens to me. You just did it. I didn't even coach him on that.
A little more
people.
nasally. And my wife will say, you got to stop that. And I don't even realize I'm doing it.
No, my husband says every time he's like, you're doing it.
And when you get around other Rangers, it just gets a little bit more
tuned up. My husband says it's our sturdiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice way of saying stubborn.
Yeah. Yeah. And not every girl wants to hear they're sturdy. So
No.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
sturdy girl. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you grow up all through like most of your childhood in that?
Yeah, right. No, I was there most of my life till I was 16, kind of north of Palo. And
Palo,
nobody
okay.
knows where that is.
You got to expand. Where's
on a
Palo?
rock in a suburb of Eveleth.
Right.
By the sauna.
By the sauna. Oh, a sauna. We
Yeah.
just got a sauna. I'm very excited about
Thanks
it.
for saying sauna and
Sauna.
not sauna.
Yeah.
Sauna's what you have at the Holiday Inn, and it's just a little infrared. Ugh.
Ugh. Nobody's got time for I got the barrel, old school, and then I jump in the
nice.
ice.
That's real.
That's real.
That's
very
real.
Scandinavian.
Yeah.
Are you Scandinavian too?
I'm a Finn.
Oh, I'm a Finn Swede.
Okay,
it's along those lines.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so how many siblings did you have?
Well, I've got two siblings, my sister and I, 4 years apart, and then I have a younger brother as well. So there's three of us.
Are they close by?
My sister's still on the range, and my brother's here in Stillwater.
He's in this neck of the woods?
Yeah, he actually isn't now, but was a nurse over here at the hospital, and then a nurse up at the detention center.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
He's a good guy,
Tell me,
Elliot.
I'm going to have to meet him someday because I think he would have
You're
some
gonna
good
love him.
stories to tell.
Yeah.
Tell me about your family.
So three boys. I've got a 34-year-old son. I can't believe that I'm old. He's a mechanic. He lives here in the Twin Cities. I've got a son at seminary. He lives in Arizona, going to school in Dubuque, and then another son who's a youth director in Mason City.
Okay. Now, when people meet your three boys.
Three boys.
Did they get into a little bit of trouble when they were younger?
Well, we got a lot of holes in the walls and broken windows, and
Yeah.
it was an adventure.
It seems so.
Every night was Fight Club.
Yeah. Did anyone break bones during Fight Club? Or
Yeah. With some bones, we got some lips and teeth, and
It's fine.
it's gonna be great.
It's fine. So when you were growing up, what kind of kid were you? Like, let's say, kind of the teenager years.
Yeah, 100% weird.
Oh,
If you
love
look
weird.
I've got an 8th grade picture. I don't know why, but when we were in 8th grade, we could bring our guns to school.
You could not.
Yeah, we could. I took gun safety in school, and you could take
So
your
did
gun.
I. Took gun safety. It's still on my license. We're so proud.
Yeah, I put it on the bus, and you couldn't have your bullets. They had to go in the backpack. But my 8th grade picture is me, photogray lenses about that big, with a gun.
Stop.
I know.
That was your photo?
I was the weirdest kid. Yeah, and for lots of good reasons, you couldn't do that today. But that's how I grew up.
Wow.
Our bus driver would pull over and shoot at things on the road. I mean,
No.
yeah. I grew up in the woods.
Okay.
Dad was a miner. laid off quite a bit. And so we harvested our own deer and grew our own vegetables and chopped our own wood and lived really self-sufficient. You know, we were off the grid before off the grid was a deal.
You were so ahead of your time.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh.
We didn't like it though.
No.
It wasn't really, I just wanted Wonder Bread. I didn't want that stuff my mom made on the wood stove. I wanted the Wonder Bread with the colorful wrapper.
Yeah. And now you would give $1 million to have this stuff off the wood stove.
It's the real stuff.
It's the real deal. Yeah. So you were weird. Did you get into some trouble?
Oh, yeah, not too much trouble. A little bit later I did, but as a kid, I was, I mean, there were no neighbors, so there was, you know, I would go into the woods and make forts, and I would take my canoe out and go around our lake, and yeah, I was just in the woods all the time.
And when you made forts,
Yeah.
would you use high quality materials? I mean, the forts I made when I was a kid, I'm surprised none of us died.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just wood and lash them together. I mean, I will say I made the best snow forts in the world.
Oh, well.
Absolutely the best.
How can I deny that? I
Yeah,
have no way to know.
Little sleds, little
Oh.
couches, extra rooms, the whole bit.
You had couches in your snow
Oh,
forts?
yeah. I mean, we did it right.
I totally wish we were friends then.
Yeah.
Because then I could hang out in your cool snow fort.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you were that age, were you like, when I grow up, I want to be a pastor?
Nope.
Nope.
No. You know, I wasn't sure, and my dad wasn't being mean, but I come from probably 8 generations of miners.
Okay.
My dad gave me a shovel and said, if you know how to use this, you'll never be broke. And so I just wasn't sure. I knew I didn't really want to do that, but at one point I really wanted to be a teacher. I was a really learning disabled kid, and so
What
I
did you
just-
struggle with? What was the?
Yeah, dyslexia.
Oh, okay.
And dysgraphia and a bunch of other things. And I never figured I would be where I am today at like the 4th largest Lutheran Church in America.
I know. How? I mean, you're speaking, you're
I don't know.
reading, you're interpreting.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know.
Okay.
There has to be a God, or that's the only. I mean, that's the only explanation for this situation here. Because yeah, even my wife, the greatest thing in the world, but I way shouldn't have won that prize, right? I just, yeah, I'm surprised daily at what the world and what God has given me.
Yeah.
Daily surprised.
So when did you decide to flip that switch and go? I mean, your dad says be a miner. We've got generations of miner. You'll pay your bills.
Yeah.
When did you say, maybe not?
You know, sometimes there are things we do in life, and then there are things that life does to us. And I think in that moment, everything kind of fell into place. I met the right people that saw something in me that I didn't even dream of seeing in myself or anyone saw around me. My mother always said, you don't have to be a miner, right? So there was this little little thing. And then I started going to summer camp, and I started leading games, and then I did a devotion, and then I was a youth director, and now here I am.
Okay, what's summer camp?
Camp Vermilion. Do you know where Camp Vermilion is?
Yes.
Cook, Minnesota.
Yes, sir. That's my roots. I'm from Cook. We still have a
Yes.
farmstead there.
Exactly. I have.
Yes.
I've taken many jumps into that Lake Vermilion from that sauna.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
We're probably there at the same time. Didn't know it.
Probably
Yeah.
indeed. See, Iron Rangers, we stick together. It's a big deal. Okay, so you come up. I mean, your church is huge, and I feel like, and this might be Lutherans in general, which is fairly new to me. They trump my typical perceptions. Like, I went to an event and people were drinking beer, and I was like, we can drink beer? What is it? Like, what is that about?
Yeah,
Is this
well-
common in the Lutheran church? I mean, we're drinking a beer right now.
Well, there's a
Cheers.
couple of things. One, Martin Luther's wife, Katie Luther, brewed beer. She was actually really good at it. Now, to be true, during that time of the world, water had dysentery and all sorts of things in it. So even children drank beer in Germany during that time because
didn't
it
know
was
that.
safe to drink. You could not get sick because of the
Wow.
fermentation. But, you know, in Lutheran roots that kind of come out of Germany. Have you ever been to Germany?
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah.
That's where the real beer is.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah, I mean, we have to be cautious because there's people that struggle with addiction and those things, but things aren't necessarily bad. That we believe that that things are good. How we abuse them is the badness, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so how we think about our relationship. We do an event from time to time called Beer and Hymns, and we
It just feels right.
yeah, we rent a local establishment. We bring in music, and people just shout out requests for "A Mighty Fortress Is Our God," and we go for it.
God, I have sang hymns in a bar before,
Yeah.
and it becomes a holy place. It's so surprising, but really cool things happen.
Actually, many of the hymns we sing today were written to be sung as along with bar songs of the old days, and yeah.
Wow. Okay, you're teaching me all sorts of things. I didn't know that about beer. Okay. So what do you think are the common misperceptions of like a pastor? Because I think everybody sees a pastor and they think things automatically about who they are, how they live life. What are some of those misperceptions?
Yeah, I mean, we're human. And I would say one of the that we're boring. I don't think I'm boring, but most pastors aren't boring.
You are so far from boring.
And that we are in some ways removed from the world, that we live in this kind of bubble, and we don't understand, the real world that people live in and struggle with and suffer with. And in many ways, it couldn't be more different. I think as a pastor, I'm invited deeply into the suffering of other human beings in this world. And in many ways, have a front row seat to some of the hardest things and the most beautiful, right? Like to weddings and baptisms and babies and children and renewal of vows. I mean, I have the greatest job in the world. After this, I'll go sit at a bedside with someone who's close to death and remind them that their life mattered, right? And then to proclaim what may come at the end as we talk about their death in their funerals.
Yeah.
Right? That's an honor.
Yeah, it is.
And I think a lot of times folks think, they sit and read and they're not in touch. With some things, we're pretty weird and pretty removed, but in other ways, I think we're pretty connected.
You're pretty connected. So if you were to relate to someone in a very human way, what are some of your most human experiences where you've really struggled or you've really experienced pain?
Yeah, that COVID business was tough. I mean, watching with people and myself, people that we loved in hospitals that we couldn't get to, that sense of separation, right? That's a struggle. And I think as we come out of COVID, we've all come out a little bit different. So kind of figuring out in this new orientation how we navigate our world.
Yeah.
That's a struggle, I think, for some as we identify our new reality together.
Yeah.
I think those are big pieces that we carry with us.
Yeah, and they keep you connected. What is one of the hardest things someone has told you that actually kind of shaped you in life?
Oh my, yeah. Well, I am profoundly aware of the way in which humanity can be brutal to humanity. I mean, as we just look at some of the violence, I kind of toured Dachau, the concentration camps, and realizing that ability for humanity to be evil, that has shaped me in a really big way.
Do you remember anything personally that ever hit you like, did you just say that to me? Did that just come out of your mouth?
Oh,
like that's what I like. Who said the thing? Not who, but what did they say? Were you like,
hello?
Oh no, you didn't.
Yeah. More than once, I've had people suggest that their theology and my theology don't agree, and have had people go, Pastor, you're going to drive people straight to hell. It's going to be your fault that they're going. And, my hackles go up a little bit. And it's like, well, A, I don't think I have that much power. And B, you're wrong. But there's that. And then, again, who should not be welcomed into a place or a place of gathering based on how people think morality orients the world, right? That God's generosity of grace isn't really for everyone. And there's been some knockdown dragouts on who gets into heaven and who doesn't.
Ooh.
I have some opinions. And so those things shape me.
I have some
from time to
opinions.
time.
I'm not sure we're getting in all those. But okay, so on the flip side, if you were to pick just one thing, which is really hard, that was really joyous, that really changed your life forever, what would be that one thing?
Yeah, it's something terrible and beautiful all at once. Many years ago, I had a youth group kid who got really kind of pulled in by the misleading, evil power of sex trafficking.
Mm.
And I got a midnight phone call, Pastor, I got to get out of this. And so we worked with an organization called Whisper. We actually snuck her out of Vegas. And then her next problem was, I don't think my dad will receive me after what I've done. And gathered with the family, visited with them, chatted with them. And the day she got off the bus and her dad welcomed her with great arms of joy, standing in that moment where she was set free from two things, from the bondage of trafficking and from her own shame and guilt by the love of her father.
Oof.
If that doesn't put gas in a tank,
Yeah.
you can get all the way to Canada with that gas
Yeah.
in a tank.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
that's
can.
the real stuff.
Yeah.
And that makes you say, I'm in the right job
Yeah. Yeah. And that changes you forever.
forever.
It's a grace and a forgiveness that's so deep. It kind of goes beyond. I'm totally pulling it together here, but that's a really powerful thing.
And it's hope,
Yeah.
right? That there is no spot so dark or so left out or so marginalized that hope and goodness can't pull it together.
Yeah.
There is no spot.
Yeah.
So that kind of fuels me for everything else.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no doubt. That's really powerful. Okay. As we collect ourselves for a hot second.
I'm a ranger. I don't cry.
We're fine. We chop wood.
Yeah, that's what we do.
What is your favorite song of all time?
Whoa.
And this is a duel because I want you to tell me and then I want you to show me what sort of dance. When it comes on and you're feeling it, what does
Okay,
that
well,
look
my
like?
favorite song isn't really a dance gig.
Oh, okay, then it's two songs.
I have to do two. My
Okay.
favorite song is a Van Morrison tune, Into the Mystic. You know that one? Oh.
Can you give me a little shot of it? Maybe I'll recognize.
Oh. Yeah, you don't want me singing? People pay me big money not to sing. But, yeah, look it up. You'll be glad you did.
Take note.
That's a great one. And I don't know. I mean, I'm a child of the 70s. And Barry Manilow was right, the Copacabana. And, you know,
Wait, the Copacabana is the song you like?
it's a great dance song. Don't act like it's not, because you know it is.
It's great.
And
I
right
mean,
now, everybody's literally agreeing with me privately. No
Yeah.
one wants to admit
They
it.
won't
But,
say
you
it
know,
out loud.
you throw down some of this.
And
You
you
throw
work-
this down, and it's the real thing. It's the real thing.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
just saying.
Are you the first person at a party? A song comes on. Are you the first on the dance floor, or do you kind of chill a little bit?
I mean, it depends on the song. I could be the first.
Okay.
You know, You Shook Me All Night Long comes on.
Oh,
Everybody's getting up. And it's hard to
100%.
know who's first.
That's true.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
But you're not afraid to come rock.
I'm not afraid. I'm afraid, but not of that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What is it that you're afraid of?
Lutefisk.
Oh.
We're supposed to like it, but I'm actually afraid of it.
Yeah. No, I don't. I can't even
a
be
bad
in the
idea.
same room with it.
It's a bad idea.
Feels very uncomfortable. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. All right, so I want to leave people with a couple things. Who is it in your life that has created the most inspiration for what you do on a day to day?
Inspiration. Right now, we've got a young person. I won't use her name, but she suffered some pretty traumatic injury by gunshot. She's a 20-plus-year-old girl. Really wasn't her fault. Wrong place, wrong time in Chicago. Got shot. We didn't think she'd make it. We didn't think she'd walk. She every day is up with her walker pushing it. And she is going to make it. And she's not just going to make it, she's going to walk. And, you know, I would just use her first name and say Rachel is an inspiration to everybody right now.
Wow. Okay, Rachel, if that is your name, did we use a fake name or a real name?
No, that's her real name.
Rachel, good
Yeah.
work. Keep pushing.
Yeah.
I think people don't realize the impact they have.
Ooh.
And when you can struggle through that hard time,
Oh. And she's got a great attitude.
yeah.
Something like that happened to me, I would not be that great.
Yeah, maybe not.
I just
I think
tell
it
you
takes
right
a bit.
now.
But didn't you say you like the word sisu?
This is the greatest word ever.
If I ever get a tattoo, which I may or may not, that will be it. 100%. What is it about? For those that don't know what susu means, can you put it? There's not a really good English translation.
Yeah, the best I've come up with is internal fortitude, stick-to-itiveness, can do, and yep.
Yep. Can you do that? Yep. I dare you. Yep. All those things. Okay, what about to the parents out in the world? What do you think the key is to raising successful children? And successful, I don't mean financially. I mean like well-balanced, good kids.
Yeah, I think it's the put into, right? I mean, the more time you spend with your kids and this whole quality time, whatever, just get up, make them breakfast, walk them to the bus stop, be with them. I remember my youngest, I was really distracted and I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. And he grabbed my face and he's like, I just want you to be with me, right? The greatest moments in my life with my kids aren't, when we hiked up Harney Peak or we did these great things. The greatest moments are just, will you truly be present, right? Put your dang phones down and just hold each other, right? And laugh and cook together and walk together and play.
Yeah.
Those are the moments that have really meant the most to me as a parent. And as I see other people parenting, just will you be with me?
Yeah. Doesn't cost money.
No.
Nope. It's really easy. Okay, we're going to end on this. What is the one question that you wish someone would ask you and the answer you'd love to give? You've been waiting all your life for this one question to be asked so you could respond in this way.
Oh, that's a great question. I'll answer it this way. I think that the fundamental question people carry and then exhibit in many ways is, am I lovable? And that it always comes with a condition. Am I lovable if? The question, if I were asked, what do I need to do to be lovable? The answer would be, you already are. Not if you get, the word if is how we live. If you study and get the test, if you work hard and get the money, if you look great and get the right boyfriend, if. But even though you're not perfect, you're lovable as you are. My prayer would be that people would hear somehow through me or through someone that you already are.
Ooh, that's a good
You're
mic
enough.
drop.
You're enough.
Yeah, exactly as you are. Ooh. Mike Carlson, it has been beyond a pleasure.
Yay!
I always love talking, and even today, as I'm learning about you, I'm learning more about life. I really appreciate your time. And I hope you guys tune in next time. But thank you, Mike, for your time today.
Thank you. This is great.